Shitting.
Yo, 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 yo. How are we doing?
What is happening, my dudes?
How are we doing?
And dudettes, if there are any dudettes in as well. How are you? How are you, mate? How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Busy day, very busy day. But
Seems.
yeah, what about you?
Yeah, very busy, mate. I'm moving soon, so the house is in a mess, and there's boxes everywhere, and shelves have been emptied, and yeah, it's just a lot of moving parts. So yeah, it's just busy. If it's not busy at work, it's busy outside of work. So yeah,
Off to the new palace.
yeah,
Oh.
something like that. Yeah.
Cool. So we've got a interesting live going on tonight. So the very kind Ritch Mitch has sent me and Anthony some fragrances, some nice samples. So these are your type of vintage fragrances. And do you want to list off what we've got going on?
Sure, for sure. So we've got Polo. So this will be Ralph Lauren. Polo Green Cosmair. I don't know the difference between Rich will probably he's in the chat, so he'll be able to tell us the difference between the usual Polo Green and not. But Polo Green Cosmair. We've got Pavarotti pour Homme, as in like the opera singer. I'm assuming Pavarotti. Luciano Pavarotti. Who else we got? We got Balenciaga pour Homme.
Oh.
And what else we got? Vintage Quorum. I believe that's Antonio Puig. Puig, however you want to say it. And we've got some vintage Kouros as well. Now, all of these, I think that the only one I've really tried is Polo Green, but that was because that was in one of those essential boxes that we had. Polo Green was in that. And I wasn't a fan. I'm not going to lie. But this is Polo Green Cosmair. So Cosmair is the vintage 1890s version, the best one. Okay, so hopefully I'll like it.
So before we dive in, I just want to say massive thank you to Rich.
Yes.
For sending us these, especially with some of these being vintage, because I know that these can be very expensive, and I know a lot of people will be sort of hunting these type of fragrances down. So for you to send us both some of these, it's much appreciated. And I'd also say, if you haven't done so, I'd only just noticed that Rich had started to do reviews as of late. So when I flicked on the channel, I'd noticed in the past month or so, he's been banging out loads of reviews. So if you haven't done so, go and hit the subscribe button to Rich's channel.
Go and check that shit out. Yeah, absolutely. Which one did you want to start off with, mate? Do you want to start off with Polo Green first, or?
Yeah. Well, some of these I think I'm going to put on skin. I think, especially some of the vintage ones, I think I want to put on skin rather than paper, just so I get a bit more of a feel for it. But we're going for.
Let's go with Polo Green. Now, Polo Green, I mean, it's true to its name. Like, it is super green. It's like mouthwash kind of green, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it's very bright. Very
green. Now, from I can't smell anything from the atomizer, but then again, I've never sprayed from it, so it's not really a great indicator. But
so before we go into it, what are you expecting from these?
I don't know. I mean, we've got the notes up. So before the stream, I've kind of got a page up for each one of these fragrances to go over the notes, but I've not looked at the notes. So I've literally opened it up, make sure I've got them, but I've not actually looked in the notes. So I don't really know what's in it. But if I remember from the last Polo Green that we smelled, it just didn't take my fancy. It just felt a little fusty to me from what I remember. But yeah, I can't. I'm not too sure. I'm assuming with. I mean, when did Polo Green come out? We're talking probably what, like 90s or something like that, right? Maybe 80s, 90s, or
Yeah.
like Cosmair's vintage 80s, 90s. So you probably it's. I imagine it's probably kind of like the more barber shoppy type deal with a heavy lavender and that kind of jazz. But I could be wrong. I mean, the fact that it's green puts you. I mean, it looks like it should be minty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It looks like it should be, but I think that's just kind of like mouthwashy type of stuff. So this is 70s. This is the 70s. This came out.
Wow.
So yeah, it's
Cheers, Ritch,
definitely
mate.
going to be. Oh, wicked! Yeah, thanks, mate. It's definitely. Well, I feel like it's going to be very kind of what you would expect, like an old kind of fragrance to smell like. So I'm expecting kind of like heavy like lavender and that kind of vibe
Yeah.
from it. But
I think hi Jim, thanks for joining us, mate. I think I'm expecting your classic sort of potential barbershop, very masculine type of scent. I think all I think of is sort of Mr. Smelly because he's very into his vintage old stuff. So yeah, I think I'm intrigued to see, especially more the vintage stuff, how they hold up.
right, let's
Because I know a lot of people love them.
let's give it a bash then. Let's get this sprayed.
Let's give it a bath.
Oh gosh, come on. There we go. Good couple of sprays there.
Oh, I said I was going to spray this one on my skin. I'll spray the other ones.
Wow, yeah, that's strong.
That is strong.
It's exactly the kind of thing that I was expecting. This is actually a lot better than what I smelt it before, what I remember.
Is this one? I know you got the notes up. If you want to get, has it got tobacco in?
Let me have a look. Okay. Whoa. Okay. So, this has got a lot. This has got a lot of notes in. Okay. So we're looking at top notes. Are you ready for this? Juniper berries, caraway, artemisia, basil, coriander, and bergamot. In the mid, we've got pine tree needles, leather, chamomile, pepper, carnation, geranium, jasmine, rose. And in the base, you've got tobacco, oak moss, patchouli, cedar, vetiver, musk, and amber. One of the things that I feel like I'm getting out of this straight away is that pine tree needle.
I'm getting tobacco. I know it's on the base, but I got it straight away. Tobacco, big time. Like it reminds me of a pouch.
Yeah,
where you have like your little bag of tobacco.
You know what? It almost smells medicinal. It almost smells like it's medicine.
Yeah.
This reminds me of kind of like. This reminds me of what people smelled like when I was younger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is the kind of thing that you smell on people when I was younger. But yeah, this is not anywhere near as bad as, I mean, to be fair, that it's actually really quite pleasant.
It's really nice. You know what? I'm not. I know we talk about it quite a lot around tobacco. This is nice. It's not
like a harsh tobacco, is it?
Yeah,
like some of the
heavy.
tobaccos that you get, like I find tobacco vanille like repulsive. Like that kind of tobacco is just too much for me. Whereas whatever's going on in this one,
it's a good blend. I know you shouted out like shitloads of notes, but I think it's not too overwhelming. It's nice. You've got like lots of the tobacco's there, but you got hints of different stuff in the background.
Yeah, Ramsey it's the Cosmair version.
Yeah,
and it's powerful as well. Like this is, you know what? This is really it's quite refreshing smelling something like this now because you just don't get this stuff anymore. You like fragrances do not smell like this anymore. And there's probably a reason for it. You know, you move with the times and you move with what's popular and stuff like that. But this is nice.
I think. Oh, I put a grebe instead of green. I think I'm getting like a freshness in the background.
Yeah,
It's like
so
you've got that tobacco, and then you've got hints of like freshness, and like I think what you said, a bit of a sort of a minty
yeah,
freshness in the
like
background. It's
it's
not
almost
full on.
mentally. It's
Yeah,
almost a mentally kind of thing, and I think that might be the mixture of what's up top and in the mid because there's a lot of floral in the mid, but there's also kind of like bergamot and juniper berry in the top. So you've got kind of like a zesty kind of fruitiness at the top mixed in with almost kind of some greenery in the mids, and it's making this really quite. It's all like I said, it's almost kind of minty. It's almost kind of medicinal kind of vibe. But the pine does come through to me. Like I get the pine quite strongly on this one.
yeah. I think
I,
yeah.
I, I
I like
really
this.
like this actually.
Yeah,
The more I smell it, the more I'm liking it, and which is really surprising because the last Polo Green that I smelled, I really didn't like.
I like the freshness and how sort of prominent the tobacco is, but it's a nice tobacco.
Mm. This smells like this to me smells like an adult.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? This, and I
yeah,
think it's probably because this is like because I was born in 1990. So in the 90s, obviously a lot of things changed fragrance wise in the 90s, but people around me, like my dad, my uncles, my granddad, they were all smelling like gentlemen's fragrances, and that's what this reminds me of. It reminds me of a well put together gentleman's fragrance, and it's nice. Like, I don't know if you could get away with it these days. I think certain people could get away with it, absolutely. But
Rich, does these have different formulations? So, is there like sort of different years of formulation with these?
have they been? Has it been watered down throughout the years? Because I do remember. Speaking of which, Baz has just popped in.
Bazaar.
Baz has recently just picked up a bottle of Polo Green because of the essential test we did. Because he was on that. He did that with us, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah,
And he recently picked up a bottle of this. So it'd be interesting to know, based upon this being a vintage bottle, whether or not it's been watered down throughout the years. If it's still in, obviously, if they're still producing it. But this is almost kind of like a time machine. It
yeah,
feels like smelling something like this, which is really quite interesting because you smell certain fragrances and you go, oh yeah, that reminds me of, but this like instantly transports me. Like I feel very young
yeah.
smelling this. I like it.
I think this sort of screams quality.
Mm.
It's not. I think just with all the notes that you can pick up in this, and how sort of I don't know what the word is. How it's just quality that you can pick up.
Mm. Yeah, it's just
Really nice.
it just feels sophisticated and classy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like
yeah,
it.
yeah. It's a nice one. We'll see
We'll
which one we like the best out of
Yeah,
these.
we'll come back to it as we
Yeah,
do with the essential ones. What we'll do is we'll smell them all straight away, and then we'll come back to it.
yeah.
Um,
Right. Which one
so
do you want to go?
Richard said it's definitely changed since it was reduced by Cosmair. Cosmair made amazing sense. So yeah, so it'd be interesting. I mean, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig out that sample that we got from in the essential blind one, and compare them because that was lovely. That was really nice, and I remember really not liking the other one, like to the point where I was just like, no, that can get away from me. So chances are it has probably been either reformulated, watered down, or changed somewhat over the years. I mean, you're talking this was produced, it says here, in 1978. So
Old school,
you're
big
talking
time.
a very long time ago that this was brought out. So yeah, there's going to be changes, there's going to be reformulations, and from the sounds of it and from what I can remember, for the worse. But I mean, I only sprayed it 2 sprays, and this whole room is just
Nice, man. It's really
it's
nice.
great. It's got a real big bubble around it. Cool. Which one do you want to go with next? Can we leave the Kouros till last? Because
Yeah.
I want to see something with this Kouros because I
Yeah.
sniffed it from the cap, and I want to see something with this. So
Yeah.
we'll leave that till last.
Shall we go for Pavarotti?
Pavarotti, yes. Let's go.
Luciano. I'm going to spray this one on my skin.
Luciano Pavarotti. Okay, here we go. Pavarotti. Okay. Let's go.
Oh.
Oh.
That's nice.
I was gonna say you're regretting spraying it on your skin.
No.
Whoa.
I got like a. I'm picking tobacco up again with this one. What's the notes on this one? I'm getting like a sweetness. There's a tobacco.
It almost feels licoricey. That's nice, you know.
Yeah,
That's
I like
really
the opening on that one. Really like the opening, and then
it almost feels fruity in the opening, doesn't it? Like there's a burst of fruit.
I'm not getting. It's not as dominant in tobacco as the other one, but this one.
That's lovely. There's a touch to it that almost smells a little bit furniture polishy, but it feels fruitier. This one. Let me have a look at the notes on this one. Hang on.
Yeah, shout the notes out.
Yeah. So in the top we've got. Oh, that's interesting. Green ivy, bergamot, rum, Sicilian lemon, neroli, petitgrain, and verbena, which will be lemon verbena. In the heart, we've got Damascus rose, cloves, patchouli, and iris, cedar and iris. And in the base, we've got benzoin, opopanax, tonka bean, liatrix, whatever that is, vanilla, oak moss, Russian leather, and honey.
So
I'm getting, and I think that's what that is. You've got the bergamot, the Sicilian lemon, the neroli, and the verbena makes really quite a fruity opening.
Did you say it's got tobacco in?
No,
I'm sure I get a scent of tobacco.
This is insane.
Unless I'm really my nostrils.
That, you know what it smells like? Now it's coming through. It smells like a lemon sorbet.
What? Just, you know what? With the Pavarotti fragrance, this is for you guys in the chat. Is this a popular vintage frag then? Because Pavarotti, I've never, obviously, first off, I never heard that he had a fragrance. And I'm guessing, Rich, with you putting it in, it was a popular one.
Discontinued. It came out in 1994.
Yeah.
That was
really nice.
That's really good. That smells like, it smells delicious. Like I'm really interested to know what this smells like in the dry down, because this has got some really, really sweet notes in the dry down. You've got benzoin, you've got tonka, you've got vanilla, honey. I feel like this is going to dry down really sweet, and it's really zesty and fruity on the top. I love this.
I think I prefer this over the Polo Green.
I think they're two very different beasts, aren't they?
They are two very different beasts. But at the minute, I think I'd hold Luciano.
I mean, how much does this go for?
I'm guessing with it being discontinued, it's quite hard to get.
Let me have a quick look.
What a legend, eh? Pavarotti.
Let's see if we can. I mean, it's literally just come up on Amazon. I mean, it's currently unavailable, but where can you buy this from?
It's probably like literally back alley jobs for this one.
Well, there's a shop here. It's Le Parfumier. Oh, you're looking about 70 quid, between 70 and 100 quid here. But it's probably because, like you said, it's been discontinued for a while. But this is
Nice, really like it.
That's
Very
really
impressed
good.
with this one.
Really good.
I think more surprised. I think if you think of like modern day terms, in terms of like celebrity frags, you'd expect it to be
Yeah.
a bit of a cheapo. It's just a sort of sales one, but this one smells like it's had some effort go into it.
Yeah, this is like I'd wear it now. Like that's the type. Like even though that it's more of a classical freight, like more like we came out in the '90s and it feels quite sophisticated and classy. Like I'd happily wear this today.
Really nice. Really
This is
impressed with that.
really good. Yeah, absolutely. And considering the price of 70 to 100 quid there, I think it's probably worth it for that. That's really, really good.
And I think with some of these as well, I think I can understand why people are hunting them down to get them vintage qualities, because we know reformulations on how bad they make the fragrances, and you just want that classic, that quality, the performance, and
Yeah, 'cause these are all powerful as well. Like you can tell by smelling them that they are strong as shit.
yeah. And you like it all the back alley?
Is there any other way to like it?
It's the best way.
It's the only way, right? Right, let's go Balenciaga.
Balenciaga.
So this is looking like a urine coloured one. I like those Balenciagas, the ones that look
Create a banner for this one so people know what we're smelling. Who was it on our lives that said they purchased like 4 bottles of this? They had like loads. Was it Javier?
I don't know.
There was
Maybe.
someone who was constantly in our chat saying, "This is my sort of favorite fragrance ever. I've purchased like 7 or 8 bottles of it." I can remember it in one of our lives, and they really liked it.
Okay, now
Right, let me give it a blast.
that's a challenger. Oh, that's a challenger. It was Ritch. I've got 17 bottles of Balenciaga Pour Homme. Oh God, I am not vibing with this one at all.
Well, let's give it a blast.
What is in this?
17 bottles, man. Fucking hell.
Yeah, this is it's damp. It's really, really damp.
What's the notes in this?
Yeah, there's a and I think that's what I'm getting. I think it's patchouli. It's a strong patchouli. So in the top, there's cinnamon, bergamot, coriander, and thyme. Heart notes, there's patchouli, sandalwood, cypress, cedarwood, and honey. And in the base, you've got oak moss, vanilla bourbon, amber musk, benzoin, and oud.
You know what? You know, with this frag, I think spraying it straight away is very, very loud. This will be one where if someone walked past you, you'd be like, Whereas
That
I think
opening is so challenging.
Where it's up close, I think the openings are very strong. I think Rich has just put later on it's a different scent.
Oh, right, okay. Because that is that's that I'd struggle with that.
I can pick up something that don't know what it is.
To me, all I'm kind of getting is kind of like patchouli and musk. That's kind of like all I'm really getting.
I think it's calmed down quite a lot since the opening. I think it'd be good to see once it dries down, what this one smells like. Pavarotti's still my favourite.
Yeah, this is my least favorite so far. Like this is a definite, and again, it harkens back to those kind of that '90s, early '90s smell.
You know what? There's something in it. I know we're going to smell it in a minute. There's something in it that reminds me of Kouros. There's like there's a fustiness to it that reminds me of Kouros. I could be wrong because I've not smelled Kouros.
I mean, I think fustiness is probably the best way of explaining and describing it. It just smells a little bit too fusty for me. Like,
yeah,
no, I'm not a fan of that as it is at the minute. But hopefully, like Rich said later on, that becomes a different thing, and maybe these are all going to act differently on skin than they do on card. Obviously, we know they perform differently, but yeah, that's not for me. That one so far. You just go back to Ode Luciano here,
mate. Luciano,
mate.
The Pavarotti is the one at the minute.
Pavarotti's banging. Let me just go back to Polo Green. Hang on.
Don't wear these to the office.
Yeah, these are they're strong. They're strong. They're very, very strong.
Right. So we've got Quorum Vintage.
Vintage Quorum. Let's do this.
So these are not like Office for Men.
I mean, they've got power. They've got power.
They have definitely got power. Right.
Whoa! I just flinged the.
Let's give this one a blast.
There we go. Let's try again. There we go. Vintage Quorum. Ramsey says, Oak Moss, here we come. Here we go. Right.
This one's different. I was expecting all of these to be very similar, but they've all got a very different style.
Okay, so this is if we're going to compare it, this is closer to Polo Green than it is to any of the other two that we've tried.
Yeah,
it's got I think Oak Moss is probably the way to explain it. It's really quite green. It's a little bit damp. It's a little bit moist almost.
Yeah.
There's a dirtiness to it, which potentially could be, I mean, I've not looked at the notes or anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was some form of vetiver in here because it's quite green, but that could just be the oak moss if I'm being honest. But let's have a look. Quorum. So in the top, oh, interesting. Oh, wow. Okay. So in the top, we've got bergamot, artemisia, cumin, lemon, and grapefruit. I'm not going to lie, I don't get any of them.
Yeah.
In the mid, we've got patchouli, jasmine, pine, sandal. I'm guessing that's sandalwood, and carnation. And in the base, you've got leather, tobacco, oak moss, amber, and olive. I can't get that word out. Olibanum. Olibanum. Get my words out. Jesus. But I think that's what reminds me of the Polo Green. It's got a bit of pine in it. It's got a bit of green in it.
You know what? These are, again, this one was very loud when I sprayed it, but now it's calmed down,
Yeah,
and
this is
the
chilled.
notes,
This feels
the
like
notes
the
are selling.
calmest one so far. This doesn't feel as in your face and as kind of like loud as the rest of them. But this is absolutely the calmest one. I quite like this. This is very. It feels very vintage. This feels very old school. This feels very. Again, it just feels quite gentlemanly.
Some like, it feels like a masculine. If
Yeah,
you were to say what is a masculine fragrance, this feels like it.
yeah. It's not like a modern day masculine where it's really woody or anything like that. This just feels like it's like again, it just feels sophisticated. It feels like a sophisticated, grown up fragrance.
Yeah, and I think like quite a lot of people say you can't pick up any fruits
Citrus. No,
or
you
anything
can't
from
because
this.
this is totally dominated by the mid and the bass. Like I don't get any of those top notes at all.
This doesn't feel like a fresh fragrance. I feel it leans a bit more your sort of woody.
This to me smells like what my hairdresser, what my barber used to smell like when I was younger. Like my
Yeah,
dad would take me and my brothers to the barbers, and this is what I would. This is how it would smell. Like I remember Steve the barber.
it's like a barbershop fragrance without
Yeah,
the sort of citrus
yeah. Like
aspect to it.
this to me smells. It just smells like what Steve the barber man used to smell like. Like that's
What, Steve?
and he was like the typical kind of like he had a mustache. He had just like curly brown hair. Like he looked like
He wasn't
the
bold.
type of guy that would wear this. Like it just smells like Steve the Barber's to me.
Nice, I like it.
And yeah, that this is the
If
difference. Like now, every kind of man smells like, and this is what Ramsey said there. Every man smells like a blue fragrance or bubblegum. But back in
yeah,
the 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, this is what men smelt like because this was what was on offer.
and this is what I was talking about in our previous live, Ramsey, is that bubble gum is more dominant in the designer frags now, and it's annoying me.
Yeah, because it's just in everything. It's
Yeah,
just in everything. Is it if it's not bubblegum, it's caramel.
yeah, I like that. You know what? If I was to,
What if Steve the Barber wore Aventus? Aventus wasn't around when Steve the Barber was cutting my hair. I don't even know if he's alive
you'd be
anymore. To
getting
be honest.
compliments galore, Brian.
Mate,
Compliments.
yeah, of course, because it's the power.
As soon as the men walk in, then panties will be down.
I mean,
Panties drop.
it was a barber's and there were no women in it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
if I was to judge that on the opening, I would have said nah.
see,
But
I
then
didn't
you
mind.
need to let it settle,
Yeah, I
and
didn't
you get
mind the
to know it a bit
opening
more.
of this. Like it was a little loud to start off with. That it's died down a very very quickly. Whereas the
Yeah,
opening for the Balenciaga one was boom. That was in your face, and that
yeah.
was like it made me like jolt back because I wasn't enjoying it. But yeah, the great thing about these are they all just have this very very big nostalgic feel to them. Um, yeah, and they just and again these kind of fragrances, and I can understand, like you say again, why people go out and hunt for these kind of fragrances because for anything they are for a nostalgic purpose for some, I imagine,
Yeah.
because just to smell, just to have one spray of this and smell kind of youth is enough to want to make you go and find it.
I think you will stand out a lot
Absolutely.
with these, big time. I think the quality will sort of scream off your body. And I think if you think, I always think, when I sort of used to go downtown and stuff, and you had that older guy walk past you, you'd always get hit boof,
Yeah, because
like cloud, and it was
they're
all
wearing some nuclear shit from the 80s.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're in their blue jeans and a white shirt.
This is the thing. If you went out wearing this, you might get you're not going to get any compliments from kind of like, I don't feel like you're going to get any compliments from women or anything like that. You might probably get a mention or two from someone that's maybe a little bit older than you, but I mean, like you said, you're going to stand out.
Yeah,
For sure. For sure, you're going to stand out.
nice.
That's nice. That's really nice. Quorum
Vintage.
I mean, looking at the bottle of that, I mean, that looks as 80s as it comes. It's like this dirty green bottle. Imagine the bottle for Brut, but dull it down and make it like a brownie green. That's what that bottle looks like. It's right. So yeah,
Right.
the nostalgia aspect on these is hitting hard, and I think the next one is going to be the biggest nostalgic one for me. I think the vintage have better ingredients too. Yeah, like I think, like you can tell with all of these, like you said, that the thing about these is the quality stands out. Like you can tell straight away. Nothing of it smells like it's got that synthetic tinge that you can get quite a lot in modern day fragrances, where it's just like chemicals upon chemicals, crap thrown at it. And you can almost smell it on some fragrances, can't you? Whereas these, you don't get that at all.
Nice.
Which is sad for the sign of the times that we're in, but I suppose that's the way of modern day perfumery.
So, Kouros, I've got a little story about this one. So, I'd probably say this was one of the very first fragrances that I smelt and sort of really got me into wanting to wear aftershave as a kid. So I'll always remember he was a big lad, dreadlocks, in his stringy vest, and he'd like come around and he would wear this all the time, and it would come in and it was so fresh, so nice, and I'd never smelled anything like it before. And when I was younger, I used to have Kouros, and then I think over the years, obviously I didn't have it. I think I purchased a bottle a year or two ago, and I sold it because it's, for me, I don't know, it didn't smell anything like what I remembered, and I'm hoping this takes me back to what I expected with the new one. And I know I think someone in I think it was Joey's channel was like got loads of Kouros bottles, and yeah, so it's a big one, Kouros, because it's got that sort of pissy smell, but it's a nice sort of
it's the kind of golden shower you want to douse yourself in, right?
Yeah.
So I've never smelt that. I've never knowingly smelt Kouros, kind of like actively picked up a bottle and sprayed it. However, when I got these, I thought I'd just give a sniff of the atomizer straight away, just to see if any of, like kind of seeped through a little bit or anything like that. And this was the first one I smelt, and immediately reminded me of my friend's dad. So my friend in secondary school, my best friend in secondary school, reminded me of his dad. Now, unfortunately, he passed away in the last couple of years. But he was almost kind of like a second dad to me. Like, we always spent all of our time over at his house after school and stuff like that. And as soon as I smelt this, I smelt him. So I think that I have smelt this before, just on someone, but I could be wrong. But like I said, as soon as I smelt it, it was just like instant, boom, that's him. Because I've never smelt it on anyone else before. Like, I can't ever remember smelling like anyone else smelling like this. So I'm hoping that that's what this is. But
I can remember I think I had the white bottle next to I had Versace blue jeans, and I used to think I was a G back then.
All right,
Secondary school, get some of this on.
I'm gonna spray this because
come on, be good.
I feel like this is exactly what I think it's going to be, and if it is, what a treat.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Do it slowly. Do it sexy.
Massive difference compared to yeah.
This is insane. Rich, can I just thank you for the treat that you've given us tonight, because I've not felt this much nostalgia in one night in a long time. I don't care that that's got a cat pissy smell. That to me is that's my early teens at my mate's house, and it reminds me of it. Oh my gosh.
This, I don't know. I think the comparison to what I bought, I think it was a year or so ago, you can really tell the difference.
Okay, so just just because we were giving out notes for everything, the notes for Kouros is in top coriander, bergamot, artemisia, and clary sage. Oh, this is gorgeous. In the mid, we've got clove, jasmine, geranium, iris, carnation, and cinnamon. And in the base, we've got incense, ambergris, oak moss, patchouli, vetiver, honey, leather, musk, tonka, and civet.
This one is amazing in the air.
Yeah.
So it just lingers. It's nice. It's very. I
don't know how anyone can
really identify it.
I don't know how anyone can dislike this.
No,
because I don't feel like, I don't know. It might be for me. Like, I know that you mentioned that like pissy kind of thing, but I don't get pissiness from it at all. I get quite a powdery nature from it. It feels quite powdery. It feels almost. I don't know. It's kind of got like a baby powder nature to it. Like, all the powdered sweets. Powdered sweets you used to get in a tin. That's how it feels, like a powderiness to it, and I just absolutely, love it.
Talcum powderish, isn't it?
Yeah, I absolutely love it, and it just, like I said, it reminds me of a man that meant a lot to me for a long, long time.
Makes me want to get my stringy vest on, get my dreadlocks going on.
Oh, it's
nice, man.
And it's what's quite sad is that any bottles of Kouros these days that you can find are probably not going to smell anywhere like anything like this, are they?
I think that's the annoying thing with the reformulations, is it turns from an amazing fragrance to then a real shitty fragrance. Because this would sell, I don't know how Kouros sells now, but this would sell buckets.
I just love that.
Really nice. Ramsey, is the silver shoulders different then? Is it closer to this one, is it?
How much would a bottle of vintage Kouros go for these days? Oh, I don't. Again, I really don't see how anyone can dislike this.
You know what I've done? There was some aftershave that I purchased from a nostalgic reason, and all of them I sold because they were nowhere near as good. So I bought Kouros I think there was the Lacoste Pour Homme in a silver bottle.
Yeah.
Doesn't smell like how I can remember.
Didn't you get the
And there was,
Moschino one as well?
yeah, it was the Moschino. Still, it smells nice, but it's just not as good as I remember. And all of these, like the Moschino one with the black and white, all of these I picked up from my uncle, and I think he would be well into these.
Yeah.
So I'll always remember working in my dad's restaurant, and he'd be wearing the sort of Moschino, the Dolce and Gabbana, and I was like, oh, I'll have some of that. But then purchasing it now, it just feels totally different, and yeah, I needed to get rid rather than just sit and waste on my shelf.
So Rich and Ramsey have been saying, so the silver bottle is as good as a rule of thumb for identifying a good vintage Kouros, and there are other identifiers. And Ramsey have said, yes, hunt down the silver shoulder bottles and you'll be fine. You could go deeper and look for Sanofi as the distributor. If you can't find the silver bottle one, you'll be fine. So yeah, it looks like there are ways of being able to find it. But Baz has even said that even the new Kouros he still loves. So yeah, I suppose and I imagine that new bottles of Kouros don't go for that much these days, right?
Yeah, I don't think it was that much when I purchased it.
Let's have a look. So yeah, I mean, just straight here, like fragrance. So 50. I mean, looking at Boots, and you're not even looking on discounters here, but Boots you can get 50 ml for 33 quid.
Yeah, it's not that expensive.
You could probably find it cheaper at discounters, to be fair, if they do it at discounters.
Yeah, I think I keep mentioning it. It's just all the quality, really.
Yeah,
it's the quality just screaming out. Really, really
like.
bad.
Yeah, this makes me want to ring up my mate.
Have a sniff.
Yeah, like it makes me want to send it to him.
Nice.
Oh, that's just.
Right, should we rank these bad boys?
That's easily number one. Easily. Let me just go back and have a sniff. So let's go back to Polo Green. See this now that we've had now we've had the differences in these, and I found that there's a little bit more sweetness in some of these, especially in the Pavarotti. I feel like there's a little bit of a sweetness in Kouros, whereas this is really quite dry. The tobacco is much more strong and prominent now. Strominent. Yeah, the tobacco is definitely a main player in it now. It feels like pipe tobacco now, whereas before it was more like fresher. Now it feels like it's been sitting a pipe.
I'm getting a weird
ashy.
It's not within it, but I'm getting a weird. I don't know if it's because it's on paper.
I'm
getting a sort of tiny bit of like a mojito type of vibe.
Yeah, I'm not getting that. I'm getting like an ashtray kind of.
Yeah, the tobacco's there. I got the tobacco straight away.
But it's
I think it's because of the paper.
It smells like an ashtray now.
Yeah, tobacco's all about this, Frag.
It's weird. This like smelling that now is this nostalgia is just never ending. Like this takes me back to a pub in Nottingham. Back when I was younger. My dad and his mates, so they'd go play five-a-side, then they'd go to the pub, and we'd go into the pub. And it reminds me of what the ashtrays used to smell, what it smelled like in the pub when everyone was smoking and the ashtrays were there. It's just this is insane. Isn't it weird? Isn't it weird how you don't smell something for so long and you smell something and it instantly just brings up a memory that you almost forgot?
And I think again with this one, the tobacco is still a nice tobacco.
Yeah. None of it. When I say it smells like an ashtray, like it doesn't smell horrible, which is weird. Like it's just got those vibes.
Yeah,
I just-
like that.
that's-
Nice. Really
yeah,
like that one.
I just find that quite astounding. Let's go back to Pavarotti.
Oh, mate. Still smells good. Still smells
Mate,
good.
that's so citrusy and lemony and juicy. It still smells like a
Yeah,
lemon sorbet.
it's nice. Really like that. I
It's
think I'm going to
really
be wearing some Pavarotti.
Mate, that's really fucking good. That's really, really good.
Still smells good, man.
Yeah, that's good.
This would
It's
be
not very complex, is it? It's very
no.
straightforward. It is what it is, and what it is fucking good.
It's good. It's one that would be like an intriguing fragrance where you getting them that sweetness is like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's good.
Bring it in a bit closer. Yeah, really nice.
Right, let's go back to Balenciaga now, because let's see if this has changed, because I wasn't a fan of this. Yeah, no, I'm not down with this. And again, it might be different on skin. There's something about this though.
I don't think I find it as challenging as you're finding it.
It's nowhere near as challenging as the opening. The opening was fucking bad. Like I couldn't get that. But there's something about this that I can't quite put my finger on though. Whilst I say I'm not liking it, there's an addictive nature to it that I just keep on going back to.
And again, I think with this being on paper could be totally different on skin.
Let me just have a look at what those notes are again. I think it is the patchouli, you know. I think Rich. I think that's it. It smells dank. It smells really like it's a patchouli that I'm not vibing with. Like, because some patchouli smell like chocolatey, doesn't it? And some patchouli just smells like wet ground.
Yeah, I don't find it too.
It's not terrible. This is the thing. I would have said for the opening it was terrible. I would have said that. It's definitely mellowed out and softened.
Yeah.
It's not terrible. Like I can smell it and try and take some of that. I can't, you know, I'm not sat here going, I can't smell that.
Yeah.
There's something addictive about it though, I think which I find a little weird.
I can see the attraction to this.
This is definitely my least favorite of them all though, I think.
I know.
Which is probably swearing to Ritch with considering he's got 17 bottles of it.
I think I've got my list.
Let me just get Quorum one last time.
Quorum's really changed. It's loads nicer.
It's very mellow though.
Yeah,
very mellow. Ramsey, wear it on skin, and before you know it, you'll be hunting down backup bottles of Balenciaga Pour On. I'll give it a go. If I'm anything, I'm a trier. I'll definitely give that a go.
Yeah, Pete, thanks for joining us.
But
yeah, a lot better than a hell of a lot better than the opening.
See, I didn't mind. I didn't mind this anyway. I quite.
No. I mean, in terms of how loud it was.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Really
it did start off loud, but this one did mellow out quite quickly. I found, and this one it's mellowed out even more, which has kind of brought out some of the other notes. I feel because this smells a little bit different than it did before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think I've got my top. I think I've got my. Let me just double check. Yeah. I've got my top five. Okay.
Yeah, I've got mine. Right. Should we go from number 3 up to 1?
Well, I was going to go from 5.
All right. Okay. Let's
I'm
do
just
all
ranking
5
it
then.
because we've only got 5 of them, so we might as well do it
Okay.
from 5 to
Yeah.
1. Rich, I think you're right. Dark chocolate dropped and left on the ground overnight when it rained. Yeah, that's exactly how I would describe it. It's
Good
just really
description.
dank. Yeah, I mean, it's because there is, like I said, because there is that addictiveness to it. It probably is something that I could warm to because I do find there's something there that I want to keep going back to smell. But yeah. You can't find any bottles for sale for Balenciaga because Rich owns them all already. He has an algorithm that just buys them as soon as it's eBay. Considering he owns 17, he could probably set up a shop for them. So, okay,
I've got them in the fridge.
So, number 5.
My number 5 is Balenciaga.
Balenciaga. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Number 4. Number 4.
I've gone for Quorum. Oh.
Quorum, definitely.
I think we're going to probably change a little bit here, I think. Number 3.
3. Polo Green.
Yes. Polo Green, number 3. Number 2.
Pavarotti.
No, I've gone Kouros, number 2.
Mine's definitely Pavarotti, and this is not to downgrade this fragrance because I do think this is really fucking good, like really good. And I think that if it smells good on paper, it's only going to smell better on skin.
Mate, my number 1's Pavarotti.
Luciano. The thing is with this one is that I love it. Like I love this for like. There's just too much attached to this.
I really love Kouros, but I think because I've smelt something new and something that I thought I'd never like at all, and it's really made my senses feel a bit sexy.
It's got you spider senses tingling.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me, there was off topic. We went to Butlins last week, and there was a guy I went on a ride with my 2 girls. And there was a guy screaming out that the ride was setting his spider senses off. He's like, "It's tinkling me, my spider senses. Oh, my spider senses." And that just reminded me of that. So sorry.
No, the thing is with Kouros is now that I know it's this, and as soon as I smelt the bottle, it took me to a place, and it's too happy to be downgraded to second.
You know what? I'm smelling Pavarotti from here, and if I smelt it here, I'd be like, nah.
Yeah,
smelling it on the skin. Oh, the dry down.
Let me smell it here, because
honestly,
mate, even in the atomizer,
it's better on my skin. That sweetness is there on the skin.
Right. Well, tomorrow, I'm going into the office tomorrow. So Pavarotti
opera vibe, yeah. Get your levers on.
Is the fragrance of the day tomorrow. Is Pavarotti, and we'll see if it manages to get me a compliment. Because that's fucking delicious. Because that is delicious.
Get on Jeremy's videos. Find out where your sweet spots are to have a little spray.
Oh yeah,
you'll be banging them compliments.
Where he's like, oh yeah, it's definitely like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then when you actually see him spray, he's just like all over the fucking shop.
Rich got 8 bottles of Pavarotti.
Fucking hell, Rich.
He's just stashing them.
But you could literally set up your own shop.
Yeah,
with all these vintage bottles.
Craziness. Hey Cash, thanks for popping in.
Hey Cash, the original gangster.
Oh, nice. Yeah, really nice. So yeah, Pavarotti, Port Homme is my number one, and
And
Ants is
Kouros, Yves
Kouros
Saint
Vintage.
Laurent, Kouros,
Vintage.
vintage Kouros. You can't go wrong. And yeah, it's just. I mean, I'm sorry. I could literally sit here and smell this all fucking night. It's just wicked. It's just wicked.
Yeah, it's nice. So yeah, massive thank you to Ritch for sending
Yeah.
them across.
Yeah, it's been fun. Like, not only is it generous because these bottles are obviously, like you said, sought after and potentially could be quite expensive. It's actually it's it's triggered some nostalgic feels tonight, which again I haven't felt so much nostalgia in the space of an hour and 2 minutes for a very long time. So thank you very much for that, Ritch. It's been massively enjoyable to do, and we appreciate it.
Yeah. And thank you for everyone joining us.
Yeah, the chat's
Pop in
been
the comments
lively
then.
as hell. So yeah, thanks for that. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be enjoying some of these for. I can't wait to wear Pavarotti tomorrow. Actually, now. God, that's juicy. That's
Mate,
some juicy
I'm gonna be
shit.
sniffing this all night tonight. Really good stuff.
Just put it in Charlie's face. Just like, smell this.
Baby number 3. No.
Right, cool.
Cool.
Well,
Enjoy the rest of your evening, guys.
Yeah, we'll call it a night. Thanks very much, and yeah, we'll definitely see you soon.
Have a good evening. Thanks.
Peace out, and we love you all.